The Discourse with Jimi Disu.
Hello listeners, this is The Discourse with Jimi Disu. First things first, I'd like to wish all of you happy Easter. And no, there's nothing wrong with my voice. I'm sure you're already thinking that this might not exactly be Jimi Disu. Well, the thing about Jimi Disu is on our wall. The guy bolted out of town, we don't know where he is, and we have an APB out for him now. So anybody who sees Jimi Disu should advance with caution. He's dangerous, he's armed, and extremely volatile. So in lieu of Jimi Disu, we do have a special guest, and it's my honor and pleasure to introduce this special person. Maybe I should ask him to tell us what his name is in the first instance. So what's your name, sir?
In the first place, who are you?
No, who are you? No, see, I told you the guy is volatile, he's armed and dangerous.
In the first place, who are you?
Who are you, man? Who are you, man? We decided there's going to be a role reversal today. And so instead of me sitting down pounding on some hapless guest, he decided that myself, Tunji Lardner, will sit in the hot seat. And it is a hot seat, by the way, I must tell you this. It's uncomfortable, it's high, I'm sitting down, I'm nervous, I'm sweating.
I hope you don't break it.
Jimmy, this is my interview.
No,
Jimmy, listen, I'm the one conducting this interview. So let's just get this skip out.
Right.
Okay, so welcome to The Discourse by Jimi Disu. Jimi Disu.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to be here.
It's nice to be on the other side. I'm enjoying this. You're squirming. You're there.
How do you put it now? I can now get a feel of what.
Yes, it's good.
But this is the second time I'm going to be interviewed. The first time, of course, was because of the first anniversary.
I see. Okay.
And we are doing this because of the second anniversary.
Yes, and that is coming up. It's 2 years already, almost.
It's 2 years.
Wow, remarkable.
First of May is when we're going to.
As we say, you have to give you props. But before we do that, what has it been like this last 2 years for you?
Today, I won't lie to you. It's a tough job. Most people, it's funny. People just tune their radio at 2 o'clock. They listen for 1 hour and they don't know what's gone into it. The thinking, the backgrounding is a whole lot of work. Especially if you're interviewing somebody who is cerebral.
Like yourself, of course.
Thanks. If you interview somebody who is cerebral, you have to do your homework, and get. So it's been 2 tough years, I can tell you. 2 very, very tough years.
I imagine, because against the backdrop of all the things that happen in Nigeria, it's just a whole dimension of things that one could not have anticipated maybe 5-6 years ago. So things are changing very rapidly.
And this environment doesn't help.
In what way?
Internet is slow. People's reactions are slow. Sometimes people misunderstand some of the things. Excuse me, either your guests are talking about, and it's just not easy. Even to get the guests on the show, people have this funny feeling that the Discourse is a government bashing show, and I say to them, no, I've had all kinds. The most interesting ones are the ones that I had. The most interesting was one I had with the kids.
Yeah,
I went into the world of 4 10-year-old kids.
Fascinating. Yes, I actually listened to that.
You listen to that, fascinating. So it's not been easy, but I'm happy. What gives me satisfaction is that people talk about it, both positively and negatively. Don't forget if people don't talk about you negatively, then you're obviously doing something wrong. If everybody likes what you're doing.
Let's go back to the negative theme for just a second there. I've been talking about things negatively and accusing you specifically. Yeah, I'm inhabiting Jimi Disu now. Accusing me of being anti-government and always challenging government. Yeah. At what point does it become a hostile assault on government, or just simply the truth as you see it?
Well, in the first instance, it's always the truth as I see it. And I'm glad to use the word as you see it, because ironically, you find quite a lot of supporters of some people support blindly. I mean, there are some things that are inexcusable that like I had an argument with somebody on Facebook on whether Obanekoro should have gone around with soldiers to sites or not. I mean, what is bad is bad. What is not right is not right. But you do find they put up a spirited defense. But it's not as if one is anti-government. No. First of all, in the media, we've both been in the media for donkey years. In the very first instance, good news is no news. If the sun came up at 6 o'clock and went down at 6:30 in the evening,
news.
High. So it's usually something
like man bites dog, but that's no news in Lagos.
Man feed by dog. Man feed by dog. But the truth is, I've been on this job, been a journalist for only God knows for as long as I can remember. But this particular government hasn't gotten a lot of things right.
And when you say this particular government,
I mean the Jonathan administration.
Okay, right.
They haven't gotten a lot of things right.
Well,
there are certain things that has happened that have been quite embarrassing. Have been issues of corruption. Administrative issues. You're giving out national honors. You don't have enough medals to go around. These are things that really shouldn't happen. So you find that on the political front, on the economic front, on the administrative front, the things are just don't seem to be going right in a lot of areas.
But the truth about it is that we've always had this sense of things not going right in a lot of areas for a long time. So one can argue that this is just the latest iteration.
Yeah, but this at the level we have gotten to now is completely embarrassing. Look at what happened sometime last week. Okay, the army comes out to say you've rescued about 200 kids. It turns out you haven't rescued not even one. So it's not even a matter of a miscount. It's outrightly false. That is very embarrassing, Tunji. That is a situation that could have been avoided.
You know what I think?
You understand what I'm saying?
But I'm trying to expand the blame game here, because it's not just the presidency per se. I think it's more institutional and systemic. If the army says that they've searched the Zambezi forest, I'm not sure what the name of that forest is, and they've recovered these poor girls that have been kidnapped, and then all of a sudden they have to reverse them.
Yes.
Isn't that a fundamental example of what's wrong with the Nigerian system? That we don't have any trust for our public institutions anymore, and there's no reason to trust them.
You see, the truth is, the reason why we blame the administration, of course, because the buck stops there. Okay. Obviously, something is wrong on the institutional front. I've said that many times to that number, that there's a need for the government itself to do a rebuild, an internal rebuild of the various institutions. Some things have been inexcusable. Buying two cars at 255 million. These are things that should normally be taken care of by an administrative statement and policy. If you're a minister, you're entitled to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. You have rules and regulations to go by, but it looks like everybody's on a free fall.
Well, the thing about it, somebody described Nigeria as a nation of anyhowness. I think the anyhowness is really, again, systemic. The fact that you don't have rules, regulations,
you don't have
this culture of impunity, and people are allowed to. But it takes two to tango. It's always easy to point at government because they're the easy targets. And yes, indeed, the buck might stop at the presidency. But I think if you look at it objectively, Nigerians themselves are culpable in this.
Oh, definitely we are culpable. But I'll also tell you, it's the same Nigerians that we had during the time of what's it called now? Buhari and the Diagbon. It's the Nigerians will follow their leader. They follow this. They look at the body language of their leader. Okay, what do you have now? Take a trip down to the airport and brazen corruption. The thinking that I see in the public service is that, look, corruption in this country is not a particular. It's not. It looks like it's no longer an offense. Neither is it a sin. Okay, so everybody just takes the cue from the attitude of their leader. So Nigerians, yes, you might say we're all to blame, but we're taking a cue. Once we have a leadership that won't accept certain things, Nigerians will fall in line.
No, but shouldn't that also be expanded to include citizens themselves? Because if you say once you have a leader, it means that we are obliged to follow the leader. Somehow, if the leader is misleading you, there's that famous expression.
You want the leader to follow us?
Well, no, but in a way, let's just examine that as an idea.
Yes.
Okay, isn't that the whole concept of the servant leader, right?
Yes.
If you want to lead people, you can either lead from behind or from the front. But the people themselves have to be involved in their own leadership, right? And if you make those choices yourselves, collectively, it doesn't matter if the buck stops somewhere. you have collectively made those choices. I agree that 30 years ago, perhaps under the regime of General Buhari, people were lining up, but that was forced. I mean, don't want to go into all of that argument.
Yeah.
But remember this also, that 30 years ago, most Nigerians weren't born. So the assumption that so it's a whole new generation.
And then there wasn't this level of poverty.
Yes.
Poverty, real poverty, poverty of ideas, and so on and so forth.
Well, listeners, listen to the Discourse with Jimi Disu. You can reach us at on Facebook, facebook.com, Classic FM 97.3, SMS at 33973, and Twitter at Classic FM.
Do you tweet to
No, you are.
No, I'm asking the question.
No, you are tweets. You can also reach us at. You see, this is the thing about I'm trying to present. I am in charge here. The buck stops here.
Okay. I'll let you do the stuff.
All right, okay. And the other numbers we can reach us will be 0909 21722973 and 070-8765-6030. Let me run that again. 0909 217-2973 and 0708-765-6030. Jimmy?
Yeah.
Let's take a break, I think.
Yeah. If you say so.
Yeah, I've just said so.
Yeah, I wouldn't take a break now, but if you think so.
I think so. I have to catch
You're
up.
tired already.
I'm tired already. This job hard though.
You have a phone call?
You have a phone call. Okay, brilliant. Yes. No, so sorry about that. It went off. Okay. If you had music and you like music and nothing, there's a whole list of things you can't play. I saw a whole list of music from.
Oh yeah, loads of.
Yeah, so
you can't play Army Arrangement.
You can't play Arrangement. So as an alternative, what would you like?
Well, since I'm bound by the laws, by the powers that be.
The powers that be.
I think I'm inclined to want to listen to everything scattered.
Why everything scattered? Is there some subliminal messaging here? I mean, today is, come on, give us some hope. Today is Sunday now, Jimmy.
No, everything is scattered.
Okay, all right.
The first instance, Abati is not my friend. I've never met him.
But would you
we definitely were not on the same. I'm far ahead of him in the media, so I've never met him. I've never met him. But but let me quickly add that Abati has a right to take up what he was employed to do in the Guardian was to write stories, and that's it. It was to write articles, and that's exactly what he did.
Write opinions,
He never told anybody he was an activist or he was whatever. Okay, and now he's taking on another job. People shouldn't expect Abati to voice his own opinion on certain things. He has to voice the opinion of the government. He has a boss. Okay, now directly somebody is asking what again?
Will you take a job?
Government under this government, definitely not.
Okay.
The not is capital.
But why not?
Well, I'm not interested.
Okay, all right.
and people must know that. To be honest with you, even for me to take on any job now is going to be a bit difficult. For crying out loud, Tunji, I'm almost spent.
Not quite. I think we can still squeeze a little bit of mileage.
No, I don't want any squeeze. I want to sit back.
I think we can squeeze a little bit of mileage.
I don't want anybody squeezing anything. I want to sit back and enjoy myself. But on a serious note, I wouldn't take an appointment from this government. And to put it bluntly, because a lot of the things that they do. Don't forget that if I took a job, it would be on the information level.
Yes.
And a lot of things that they do, I cannot defend.
So professionally, you wouldn't? And
no, I wouldn't.
Maybe on the basis of some measure of morality too?
No, I don't have a morality, but I just wouldn't.
Okay, fair enough.
In PR practice, which
yes.
I also did for a long time, you have to study your client and know who your client is. You must have some level of alignment with your client.
Okay, so let's talk about this issue of alignment now. That's another interesting thing. So we agree that you won't take a job because you're not aligned to the values, right?
I'm not aligned to the values.
Okay, the question of values here is also a very important thing. What are your own driving values? What has prompted you to create this program? And what values actually determine the kind of guests you bring on? And your own personal moral reference point.
My moral reference point, of course, is the same moral reference point that you have, that a lot of us had, growing up, right from childhood, our university days, when I was in university, Wale Soyinka was my role model. Okay, Fela Kuti was also my role model. So one grew up with those values. Forget what people say about things.
These are all bohemian.
But I'm not a maybe
Fela
Kuti, Wale Soyinka. Yes, they might Shoba more. These were people who I could say Samamuka. These are people who Uncle Sam. Yes, these are people who have brought a lot of influence on my professional life. And what is it all about? It's all about a better society. Period. Just summarize it in 2 words: good society, good environment for people to live in a happy life.
Do you think we're on track towards attaining this better society?
We definitely
a great society.
We definitely.
And why not?
As things are now, Tunji, we are not on track. Don't ask me a question that you can answer yourself.
No, but I'm the one asking the question.
You can answer. We definitely are not on track. You know it. Why are you asking me?
For some people, we think we're on track now.
Why are you asking me?
Because I want to find out your own opinion.
No. We're not. Tunji, we are not.
And why aren't we on track?
Tunji, we are not doing things right. We are not even doing the simple things right.
Like what, for example?
Even the way the government is structured, we are not doing things right. We are not putting round. Is it round? Yeah, we are not getting it right. Tunji, we can't deceive ourselves. We don't want to say because we don't want to embarrass one person and we start telling ourselves lies. We're not getting it right.
But
a lot of our look at you don't, for example, look at our economic council. Yes. You don't set up an economic council and put businessmen there. Businessmen by their nature want to take advantage of a system for to maximize profit. You look at Obasanjo's economic council and look at what we have now. You understand? We are not getting things right. Some of our ministers are,
but isn't that part of just the way this political system has evolved over the last 60 years? And we're just reaching another level of...
No, Obasanjo was able to marry the two. Let's give credit to whom it is due. Whatever you might feel about Obasanjo...
But it was not sustainable, Obasanjo's marriage, so to speak, of the two. It was not sustainable.
What do you mean it wasn't sustainable?
Well, because you can almost track a direct path of this particular administration to the Obasanjo times.
No. Of course, you know that there's been a cut even before the man got angry and took a walk.
Who? Before who got angry?
Before Obasanjo got angry.
Why did he get angry? Because they denied him a third term.
No. I'm not talking about third term. A lot of people blame Obasanjo for the situation we are in today. What they forget is that it was the PDP governors at that time that determined who the presidential candidate and the vice presidential candidate was. Yes, they put Obasanjo to the wall by telling him that he had to choose one of them as president and one of them as vice president. That's what happened.
Okay, but you see, the point now becomes the issue within the PDP itself and Obasanjo.
And what we heard was that the vice presidency was actually offered to, I think it was offered to Donald Duke.
Yes. And
then he made some complimentary remarks. That's what we heard.
The thing about it is that, look, we can argue back and forth till the cows come home.
Yeah.
There are certain institutional weaknesses. There are certain things wrong with the political arrangement as it is. The political parties themselves, okay?
Yeah.
All right? So the question now becomes, how do we change it? Because in truth, if we're not going to be lying to ourselves, somebody once said on Twitter that, and I thought it was a very witty clip, that APC is a counterfeit of PDP. So why did you vote the original? The truth about it is that if you look at both political parties as presently configured, right, it's the same, basically. And you think those arrangements are the kind of arrangements that would help us move forward?
I think you have a caller there.
Really?
I'm doing your job for you. You have a caller.
Okay, all right. We have a caller. Hello.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Your name, please?
Yeah, is that the Discourse?
Indeed it is, with Jimi Disu.
Yeah, okay. My name is Emeka from Astanda.
Okay, Emeka, what's your question? What's your suggestion? What's your statement?
I want to ask Mr. Jimi, when is he going to bring Major Buhari? We want to ask him some questions because I feel Buhari will be a better candidate.
Okay.
Nigeria for good luck administration is nothing to write home about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I wish I could answer that question, but let me toss it to my guest. Perhaps he might be in a better position.
Of course, he asked me.
No, but I'm Jimi Disu. Don't get it twisted. Right now, I am.
Well, yes, we will get Buhari at some point. It's not easy to get General Buhari because he doesn't live in Lagos, and of course, we have our limitations in terms of getting people here from outside Lagos and so on and so forth. Costs, and don't forget that this discourse is done on the free fall as it is now.
Free fall in what way?
We don't have a sponsor yet.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, no, we don't have a sponsor yet.
Why wouldn't anybody sponsor?
Well, like I told you before we came on here, I said that I got a sense that people always tell me, "Oh, we enjoy the program, but it looks as if you're always anti-government." Everybody wants to stay in his own safe haven, okay? And they say, well, you don't want to be seen as. And I keep telling them, look, the discourse is definitely not about. Not anti-government. We've had all kinds of people. We had the Ifa priests here. You remember?
Yes.
You remember? We've had all kinds of people. We've had kids. We've had.
You even had people from the PDP. Yeah, the PDP.
We've had people from the PDP. We've had people from the APC. We've had people from the NON. We've had people from the UAE. We've had loads and loads of people. I mean, so that in itself offers it gives us some limitations as to.
No, but I think this is about the time to make a pitch about. Keeping this program on air. You've done a wonderful job. Or should I say I've done a wonderful job?
You've done
I think it's interesting that people are afraid. Why are they afraid of? What is this sense of self?
No, Nigerians are, let me be very honest with you. Nigerians are generally selfish people.
In what way?
Okay, now, look at the Nigerian attitude. Usually talking about this and that until the day, your next of kin becomes governor or it becomes commissioner, then automatically, Nigerians like staying in their own safety zone, in their comfort zones.
Up until the point where
everything collapses on their head. And it's a pity that you find that the corporate world don't want to contribute to national discourse. They'd rather contribute to comedies and.
But what is that mindset?
And dancing and so on and so forth.
That makes it impossible.
Well, I said
you've had a corporate experience.
I'll tell you this: Nigeria is a conspiracy. I said it on my interview with Sahara Reporters. Nigeria is a conspiracy between the politicians, the religious bodies, and the business people.
Yes.
Between the three of them, they box the rest of us into a corner, and they're manipulating us. They would easily, once it's something to do with comedy, music, for you to go and jump up and drink yourself to death, they will do that. Anything that involves national discourse, everybody shies away from it.
Even in the face of the collapse of the state itself.
Even in the face of the collapse of the state itself, where you would find it was corporate Libya that saved Libya from Gaddafi. You understand what I'm saying? But they'd rather anything that won't get us thinking on the religious front, what they sell to you is miracles and whatever. The politicians sell you some dummy manifesto, and then the business people sponsor things that won't get our youth thinking. It's always about dancing, comedy, and things like that, because it's all about profit. Okay, so we will continue. I'm determined to continue, sponsorship or not. I'm going to continue this as long, and I need to give kudos to the owners of Classic FM for having tolerated me this time.
I think we should give them.
I need to acknowledge publicly, the support I've gotten
service beyond the call of duty. I don't understand why anybody will have you on radio.
And Electric. Yeah, because they burn generators, they burn all these things. No sponsor for the program. But for as long as I can do it, and as long as I have breath in my life, I will continue this program.
Oh, brilliant! I'm sure there'll be some.
I was feeling. Earlier this year, in fact, up till about 2 weeks ago, I was feeling whatever. But now I've gotten some pep-up talk, lists of it from you, know, and people who keep calling me and keep saying that.
I think it's important. Even your listeners here, Twitter.
I will continue it. Even if I don't get I will tell Theologian to give me a place in Freedom Park and have the discourse open here every Sunday. Even if I don't get it, but I know Mega Electric will always support me on that. Okay.
Jimmy, let me just take a couple of SMSs. Jimmy, I'm a regular listener to your press review. Unfortunately, my SMS comments are always acknowledged but never read. I am 76 years old and my view of our national malaise are mostly in tandem with yours. Please, can I have your personal phone line, personal contact with regards Prince Adams Benoba?
I'll send it to him. It's good that a 17-year gap. It still puts me in tandem. He's 76, right?
He's 76 years.
That tells you how old I am.
Well, I'm not as old as you. Just for the record, when we were working together.
Come on, you don't grow this white beard for nothing.
I was a precocious 10-year-old, so I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway,
when you saved my life once.
I know, I was 10 years old when that happened. No, but seriously, let's before we take another break and listen to music, let's just go through the week's event. What are the things that have actually, for want of a better word, pissed you off over the last 2 weeks?
I think we should just leave that one.
No.
I think what I've found, one I will talk about, the other I'll not talk about, because when I say it's personal, not to me,
yes,
but it's personal to a top person in government who I think should have, he had some kind of function that he should have done otherwise.
Okay.
But I don't, there are too many things to talk about, so I'll let that one ride. But what I found most embarrassing is this issue of the military claiming, that they've rescued these kids when they hadn't. It brings the credibility of government down to zero.
Yes.
Now we had, and it's happening over and over again. Remember, Ruben and Co. initially denied that the First Lady was ill until she came out to say that no, she was actually ill. Now we have this. Are we now going to have a situation where every time we get a statement from government, we have to think twice before we believe it?
But the thing about thinking twice before we believe it, do we really believe it in the first instance?
I don't think so.
And the other thing that I think we should talk about as newsmen is it's just a news cycle, right? How very quickly things just get bumped off the news cycle as if they never happened. 6 weeks ago, they were talking about $20 billion.
Yeah, no. We're talking about where's our money. Now we've forgotten.
It's where's our children.
Where are children?
Yes, and it's just a consistent, should I say...
You see, that is why you also find our
failure.
public officers do what they do with impunity. They know you'll make noise for a week or two and something else will crop up.
So you're saying that we have no collective memory?
No, we have no collective memory.
But we're not interested in remembering all these things and cataloging them.
See, Nigerians need to get out of their comfort zones and stop this selfish attitude of thinking it's not going to happen to me. When we say schools are bad, okay, you send your kids abroad. You forget that the kids that you leave here are the ones who are going to administer the state.
That's true.
And they're going to be determining your life in your old age and that of your children when they do come back. So we always like to just stay in our comfort zones. If you don't have light, I'll get 2 generators. One for day, one for night, then solar and inverter to back it up. Odd and even. Forgetting that if your neighbor's house catches fire from a better past my neighbor, the fire could spread to your house because there's no fire service to put it out. So we need to realize that we have to be our brother's keeper and we have to place a premium on development in this country. You must follow development.
But you know something, Jimmy? All these things you're talking about is not just about the development, the physical part. You're talking essentially about the values.
The values, yes.
Right. So the question now is, how do we correct the mindset of Nigerians, if that is at all possible?
That's the contribution we are doing.
Okay.
As journalists, we are doing our part.
But do you think
Tuesday to Friday, I'm screaming in the morning. Sunday, the same thing. As a journalist, I've done my part. What have the pastors done? What have the allergies done? What have what has the business community done? You work all the profits, you take money. What have you done to contribute? You understand what I'm saying? Everybody just wants to take a grab of what he can and think that it has nothing to do with me. That is a wrong attitude, and we need to change that.
But the question, do you think it's possible to change it within a framework, right, that will stop the collapse of this country?
Nigeria is an impossible country sometimes, but we won't stop trying. We will not stop trying.
Somebody just sent a tweet picked up on your issue about the religious leaders. It says the religious leaders, JWB from Lagos, it says the religious leaders are part of our problem.
Of course,
Where is the place of liberation theology? It's only prosperity.
Well, look, the religious leaders have put us in a bind. Rather than tell our people, talk to them about salvation of their souls, and encourage them to walk, it's all about miracles. My brother, there's no miracle anywhere.
There's none?
You go to a crusade of 100,000 people, and then the preacher says, expect your miracle and say amen, amen. Would you have 100,000 people having miracles? Is that a miracle? A miracle is something you see once in a while. Check your dictionary. Baba Onidiko.
No, but I'm a wholesale miracle.
You can't wholesale miracle.
Why
It's
not?
all, look,
It's
see,
Nigeria now.
see,
Miracle, full
Nigerians need to put on their thinking cap. You've done this thing for so long.
So you're saying we're not thinking?
We're not thinking. If you go in the bus now, try it. Tell Adigbo you got to try it as is in, because always in the bus. Let him stand up and say, let's bow our head down. Let's bow our heads down in prayer. Everybody will bow their heads before they even find out who is this gentleman. A man walks into a place and they say, well, this is a man of God. Am I supposed to be a man of the devil? All of us are men of God. All of us are children of God.
We have doubts about your own identity, but that's no. But I think your point about us.
We don't think.
We seem to.
Let me quickly clarify, because again I find that some reactions to some of the things I say, some of them are not well rounded. I have absolutely nothing against religion.
Okay.
I'm a Christian. I practice Christianity. I come from a Muslim background, so I have a feel of the two. I have nothing against religion, but I hate manipulation. Using religion as a weapon and as a source of, as an instrument of manipulation to manipulate our people's minds. We need to get our heads screwed on straight.
It's interesting. The quote that comes to mind. Remember that old Karl Marx, that religion is the opium of the people.
Opium of the masses. Yes.
Yes. Shall we, just take?
No, I'm getting out of here. I have some guests I have to bring in.
Oh, you have some guests.
I have to take my show back from you.
Okay, so that's how it is now. This is all the thanks I get, Abby.
This is all the thanks you get. But please, listeners, remember the Discourse anniversary comes up on the 1st of May. Is May Day. You forgot to ask me that. It's May Day. It's a public holiday. 4 p.m. It's going to be 444. It's going to come on live. May Day, 1st of May, 4 p.m. We have as our guest Obi Ezekwesili. Yes. He's going to be in the hot seat, and it's usual discourse time, 1 hour, 15 minutes for questions. We have a cocktail, and after that we have a ball.
Brilliant. You just heard it from Jimi.
And it's by invitation only.
You're cutting people like us out now.
No, you get an invitation.
No, what about the man in the omnibus?
Yeah, in the corridor. You're not in the corridor of power now. You're inside.
In
my chamber.
This is great, Jimi Disu. I think it's been wonderful, and I'm sure we're all going to support. And I'm hoping that some CEO somewhere in some corporate office will be thinking, maybe we should support this.
It'd be nice to get a phone call tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, Jimi Disu again.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Let's
hear some music. What was the second choice of music you wanted?
The one I wanted. You say you can't play it, so
you can't. There's things you can't play here.
I want people to listen to this song very well.
Which one?
It's called "Natural Mystic" by Bob Marley.
Okay, all right.
Listen very well to the lyrics.
Okay, Ire.
She forget her go.
Yeah.
Why? Where in there? She drive?